we go?
All right.
Yeah.
Yep. First, I don't have anything.
You got nothing?
I got nothing.
How are you going to end the, last show we're doing for a couple weeks on nothing?
It's a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure. Jeez. I got nothing either. I don't know. One weird question. That was it. I don't know.
How about this? What would you rather do? Eat that really expensive octopus that when you pour the soy sauce on it, the salt makes it dance, and so it's like grabbing your face as you eat it.
Yeah.
Or have your friend piss on your leg after you got stung by a jellyfish.
Piss on the leg.
Okay.
100%.
You know that the piss on the leg thing is a myth and it doesn't do anything?
Still would rather the piss on the leg over having that thing crawl around in my mouth. That's so weird.
I'd go for the octopus.
That's so weird, though.
Looks delicious.
I mean, I'm sure it's tasty, but it still looks weird.
I would enjoy it.
I don't know. I don't know if I would. I definitely would not like something like moving around in my mouth while I'm trying to eat it.
You don't like things moving around in your mouth?
No, not at all.
I don't know what that would feel like.
I don't know. I have no idea. So, hey, well,
episode 12.
Yeah,
we've made it 12 episodes without killing each other or anyone else for that matter.
True.
As much as we've talked about it.
Yeah, that's very true. We're not as fucked up as we seem.
Because that's more of an accomplishment for me.
Yeah, probably.
Whatever. As far as accomplishments go, I've had better.
Oh, God. Yes, there's been much going on. But big one was last night. Eddie Murphy was hosted Saturday Night Live. First time he's been on the show in 30 years. I watched it earlier, and then we just watched all the sketches. I definitely implore everyone to go watch them. I thought they were great. Brought back all the great, all his great characters. Gumby, Mr. Robinson. He brought back another character that was really good. That one we actually didn't watch, but whatever. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was hilarious. Buckwheat, which I'm shocked. I still can't believe that they allowed him to do Buckwheat again. But
it's Eddie Murphy. They have to. What are they going to say? No?
I mean, yeah, I guess.
It's not like it was really inappropriate or anything.
Yeah, to us.
Well, I mean,
but to all the little SJW crybabies out there, it's a super I mean, listen, that sketch is a highly fucking racist sketch.
Yeah, but I mean, it's Eddie Murphy, and Eddie Murphy can do whatever he wants.
Right.
And it's his character, so...
yeah. Well, it's not. It's a Little Rascal. It's the Little Rascals, but...
Yeah, but I mean, he's done it on SNL in the past.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'm just shocked that they allowed him to go that way. Especially, when they, I don't know. It's just I haven't looked up anything, but I'm sure there's got to be, outrage out about it.
I'm sure.
I haven't seen anything yet.
There's a lot of snowflakes out there
that
are offended by everything.
Yeah.
I was actually shocked that it had been 30 years.
Yeah.
He never hosted, even when he did,
nope.
Dr. Dolittle or Daddy Daycare, any of the other things. He just hasn't been on there since he left.
Yeah, not whatsoever. The only thing he came back for was the 40th anniversary. They did they honored him. They gave him a lifetime achievement award or whatever it was. I don't know. Whatever. They did some sort of honor of him for the 40th anniversary, and he didn't perform. He refused to perform. They showed all his sketches. They did all stuff for him, and then he just came up, said a couple things, and then walked away. I don't know. If I remember correctly, they either fired him or something. There was a lot of animosity. Like the big ones are like him, and I guess like the way they fired Sandler was a big one. Like Sandler's the only other cast member I think who is not like, or he's a big one where they just refuse. He will not go back to.
Well, he did it recently.
No, or yeah, he just did it recently. Yeah. But that was like another one where it just he would not go back and do the show. And that was like the first time he's ever done it. But I loved it. I thought a lot of the stuff that they did, with his sketches were great. The monologue, I kind of wish it would have been just him doing stand up over what they did with it.
They always seem to, whenever there's someone who hasn't hosted in a long time or has never hosted, well, not so much never hosted, that's all the time.
Yeah.
But someone who hasn't been back in a while, they always bring people onto the stage and interrupt it.
Right.
It's like formula every time. They did it for Adam Sandler.
Yeah, they did with Will Ferrell.
They do it all the time.
Yeah, because they had Will Ferrell, they had Ryan Reynolds in the audience, and it was like him. Yeah. I don't know. I was just expecting more of the way they handled when Louis C.K. was hosting, or when Chappelle hosted, because realistically, Eddie's first and foremost a comedian. Even though he's an actor and like all this stuff, he is first and foremost a stand-up comedian. Like that's what he is. And I'm shocked that they didn't just do a comedian stand-up, 5-minute monologue, like Chappelle did, and like all the other stand-ups typically do. Even when you have Rock, like Chris Rock's hosted it before, and he does his 5 minutes, and all the or whatever, because they're stand-ups first, and improv and sketch comedian second. So that was a little disappointing, especially because like all the rumors of him being, supposedly he's going out to the clubs right now to start his stand-up and stuff like that again, and like he's been doing little things here and there, and there's just been rumors of like it's just hilarious, like just absolutely brilliant stuff, like hilarious stuff.
I would be excited to see some Eddie Murphy stand up currently, because I know he had planned on not taking it easy, like going full Eddie Murphy style with it, not kid friendly, dad jokey, but like what he really has on his mind and everything.
Oh yeah, and you can see the starts of that just in the SNL that he was doing. Like some of the jokes, he went hard on a lot of them. Like like you're saying, like the buckwheat stuff, the Mr. Robinson Neighborhood. I mean, it was all for the most part racial humor. Even on SNL, I can't even repeat him on here. But yeah, it was good. He's definitely, it made me that much more excited for when he does his special, because it's just gonna, like, you could see, like, I don't know, I feel like you can see the inclinings of like what we're about to get, and like how ridiculous it's gonna be.
Yeah, I think he'll put out a good special when he does get to it. Like you said earlier, it would be nice to be in LA and go see him at the clubs and stuff.
Yeah, because he's gonna have to work it out, and you're gonna be able to see it.
But overall, I mean, I didn't watch the rest of the Saturday Night Live episode, so I would say, go watch it. Watch the Eddie Murphy stuff.
Yeah.
But it was not nearly as good as I thought it would have been with Eddie Murphy. But that's mainly because Saturday Night Live has taken such a big dump.
I forgot to
couple of years.
I forgot to show you the one episode, the other sketch. They do this whole sketch of it's like the North Pole news, and
still cold.
Something no, it's all the elves and stuff, Santa.
Gotcha.
And there's like this things happening at the toy making shop, and it winds up being a polar bear attack, and it's like Eddie Murphy being the black guy running up into the newsstand and telling everyone what's happening, and they're like not believe it, like the newscaster doesn't believe him, and that was the sketch that I was like, this is fucking brilliant. Like, but no, I really enjoyed it. I thought I agree. Some of the stuff, it definitely could have been funnier. But
again, I mean, it's Saturday Night Live,
Yeah.
so it's not nearly as edgy as it used to be, like 30 years ago,
yeah,
when things weren't so politically correct. I know there were some things that as you said, you were surprised that he was allowed to do.
yeah,
But I mean, even if it was 15 years ago, it would have been edgier. Like Saturday Night Live in general has just taken such a dive, and I don't know if that's part of the whole "we're getting older" thing. Because I know my dad loved Saturday Night Live. We watched it as a kid, and as it went on, he stopped liking it. And then as I got older, I stopped liking it as much. And I don't know if that's just like how our taste in music changes as we get older and what we think is good and whatnot, or if it really has just taken a dive. And it's because of the culture that we're.
I think the majority of it has, realistically. I think the stuff that works right now is really just the Weekend Update stuff. Like the Weekend Update is probably some of the best it's ever been.
Because I mean, it's always about current events, so
yeah,
it's easy to keep fresh with jokes and stuff. But as opposed to writing sketch comedy, it's like, how many sketches can you do without overlapping onto something else? They
also allow them to go way harder with the jokes. They allow them to be much more edgy
on Weekend Update.
Yes. It seems, than the normal sketches that you get. Yeah, no, there's definitely been a downturn. I mean, and like, when you have good hosts, like the Will Ferrell episode a couple weeks ago was really good. The one for Thanksgiving that they did with him, that one was good. But it's like, you have Will Ferrell, of course it's going to be good. That's your host. You know, you're going to have him in every sketch, and it's going to be fantastic every time. So, I mean, that stuff all really depends. But, no, I definitely hear what you're saying. It's definitely not been the greatest of seasons, or past few seasons, I should say.
I mean, I really haven't watched much of it. I do periodically go in and check it, but I haven't actively watched Saturday Night Live in years.
Yeah.
Because every time I put one on, I'm like, oh, this person hosted, I'm going to go watch that one.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't find myself laughing at it.
Yeah.
I'm not even really chuckling.
I can agree with that on a lot of it. Like I said, I think a lot of it's dependent on who the host is, but a lot of it as well is I think the whole cast is like hit or miss. I don't think they necessarily do have just great sketches. I mean, there's some good ones in there. You know, like I said, Weekend Update is pretty good every time, because they definitely go edgier for it. You know, and they're not afraid to bring back like older people too. Like they bring back Bill Hader's Stefan all the time now.
Well, Stefan is fantastic.
Yeah.
You're never gonna.
Yeah. Oh, but I mean,
what makes Stefan so great is how much Bill Hader laughs while he's doing that character.
100%. He is. That's. I mean, he was one of the best character actors on that show. Like, I mean, he for years had so many reoccurring characters that were brilliant every single time. Like, even some of the one-offs he has, like, I wish I saw they had more sketches, because they're so good. He's easily one of the best Saturday Night Live has ever had.
Yeah, that was a good era, I would say, when
Bill
was there,
and Sandberg,
and
Armisen,
and what was the other one? The guy from Last Man on Earth.
That's Will Forte. He was a little bit before them, but yeah.
He was on there at the same time as Bill Hader because they did that movie together.
Yeah,
also.
yeah. He was around that same time. He left not too long after Bill Hader started, maybe when whatever he became a regular or whatever it was. But yeah, no, I definitely. I mean, a lot of people have said Saturday Night Live is not as great. It's not just you. Like,
I'm aware of that.
Yeah. No,
I think that's anyone out there who thinks that they're the only one thinking Saturday Night Live isn't as good as it used to be.
Yeah,
that would be naive.
It's definitely a super popular opinion.
But it's still a popular show. I mean, it's still running.
They're never gonna let that show die. It's like The Simpsons. The Simpsons are never dying. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean.
I think it's interesting that the cast of Mad TV seems to cycle through the Saturday Night Live cast nowadays.
Oh, yeah,
and you're like, it's good. I'm happy for them.
Yeah, they definitely have. They've done that for a while, quite a while now.
It took a while though before Mad TV was gone. Before they started showing up on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, because I even noticed that. They would also do that with when Kids in the Hall were big as well.
Kids in the Hall was such a good show.
Yeah, and that was a Lauren Michaels show. So he would have them pop in just to do like a sketch or two, not like as a main character or like a main whatever.
Yeah, they would just be there.
They would just be there as one of the characters in the sketch. They've done that a few times. But
Kids in the Hall, Upright Citizens Brigade.
Yep.
All the old classics.
I mean, the problem is sketch comedy, it's just different now. And Saturday Night Live, as great as it is, they're not. I think it just comes down to, you're right, just the risk. They are quite a bit. I don't know what the right word for it is. Restrained.
Yeah, I would say that.
I think because it's become such a iconic show and it's like a staple of television, they're trying to preserve that. And I mean, I don't think you'll ever see the days of the Bill Murray,
never,
Dan Aykroyd, Belushi, Eddie Murphy.
No, that's never really going to come back. The only way that would come back is if Saturday Night Live turned into a web show instead of a TV show.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's too big at this point. It's too much of a cultural.
It's a staple. It's
icon. Like it's to try to preserve that. Back then. It could be this kind of like rogue show. Because it just had to be. It was this absurd show where, there was nothing like that.
Yeah, we're never gonna get the ambiguously gay duo again, kind of thing.
Yeah,
like that is.
It's so dumb.
Like, even if you went back and looked at that now, you'd be like, wow.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at
many people would be offended by that if it came out today.
Oh,
and not to say that people weren't offended at the time,
sure
but
people were. But
at that time, it was, well, if you didn't like it, you didn't watch it.
Well, even that, like that one. But the thing is, see, that one maybe not, because that one wasn't even really, because that's not even really making. It's not. It's about gay people, but it's not making fun of gay people. It's making fun of Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, just some of the stuff where it was like when Dan Aykroyd was doing a Weekend Update, or maybe it was Murray, where he's just like, Jane, you ignorant slut. Like, I think it was Aykroyd. Like, you'll never, like, just those types of things. You're not gonna see that anymore on Saturday Night Live. Like, I just don't. It's just because it had to be just so absurd, and some of the comedy was so mean and so just ridiculous and over the top and crazy. Like, you can't, and they just can't do that anymore because it's become this like almost family show that like it just we kind of coddle everybody, and it's definitely it's gone more. I don't know, like it's weird because sometimes I look at it and I'll watch things and I'll think it's gone like super SJW liberal, like snowflakey, and then other times I'm like, oh, wait a minute, this kind of is edgy what they're doing, or like, especially like I said with the weekend update stuff. So I don't know, it's very weird. Like I said, I think it's all been hit or miss. It's been super hit or miss. I think they want to kind of try to swing for the fences, but they're not allowed to. And I think that I don't think we're ever going to see that kind of ridiculousness really again.
There's always going to be the sketches that we always remember, and I'm sure that there are newer sketches that are giving those impressions for other people as well, though. So it could also be a product of who we are as we grow and things change. But I'll always remember the simplest skit from Bill Murray that I've always loved was a commercial for like Poland spring water. Right. But it was so natural that it still had bottle caps and like dirt in it and it was sludge, but it was clear. Right. And they're like, the crisp freshness of unfiltered, natural, clean, or fresh water. And it was just like, there's bugs in it and bottle caps and fucking all sorts, because they just like went out and scooped water from the river. But nothing edgy about that at all, but it was just classic. Yeah. And like the Adam Sandler and Chris Farley beer commercial where they're pool boys and they crack open the beer, and then all these like buff dudes show up and start giving them back rubs and everything. Like, those are all classic. Yeah. But I mean, like I said, Murphy was good. I'm super excited for stand-up coming out. Which, if you're in those areas where he's going to be working at his shit out, go fucking see him. I'd be at the Comedy Store every goddamn night. You would be there every night anyway, though. No, because I mean, we got stuff going on. We have stuff here in all these areas, but like, I would be there every single night if I knew. Oh yeah, Eddie Murphy's he's gonna be stopping in here on a regular basis. Like, every night I'd be there. Yeah. Beyond Saturday Night Live, what else have we got going on? It's been nothing really. It's been super slow as far as the news is gone. I mean, everyone's, I guess, talking about Star Wars, which I haven't seen yet. But you know me, I'm very late to the game when it comes to movies. I love them, but I wait a little while before I go and see them. Yep. And I saw it on Thursday. He put out a review. It's 14 seconds long. Sure, there's a link in the description at this point to his. Go ahead, go on. His review. It's a non-spoiler review. I got a non-spoiler review, and then I got a spoiler review, which should be out by the time this goes up. Maybe, hopefully, still gonna get it done. But yeah, it's not great. It's not great, guys. It's really bad. It's really, really bad. So I've heard some opinions of people. I'm not saying it was the greatest movie or the greatest Star Wars movie or anything like that, but just like they were happy that they were watching a new Star Wars movie. And they were like, who cares? I got to see a new Star Wars movie. I love the fact that I got to see it, and it was a good movie. But you don't think it was a good movie at all. Fuck no. It was horrible. It was a
horrible movie. It was the best way I've heard described so far was, and this is so many reviewers have been saying this, so I'm not the first, but it plays like a Star Wars fan fiction.
But not as good as the Star Wars fan movie Fanboys.
No. No, not at all. Not at all. This is my new least favorite Star Wars movie. This is my
more so than any of the 3 prequels.
More so than the prequels. This movie had no direction. It felt like I was watching it on fast forward, but at the same for 2.5 hours. So it was both extremely fast paced and slow at the same time. It's filled with member berries. Just
member berries
to the point where it's like just slapping you in the face, like, and it's just, it was just not good. They took a lot of elements from the Dark Horse comic run, and if you've read the Dark Horse comic run, it chronicles the Emperor coming back, where it's not long after the Emperor coming back, and you find out that the Emperor had clones. The whole reason why he did the clone army was so he could transfer his essence over to his other clones and just live forever. And that's why he got cloning legalized. It's this whole long thing, and he winds up bringing Luke to the dark side, and it winds up being Leia who has to save him. Like, it's a really, really good run, and they took elements out of it, and I knew they were going to. I knew I just knew they were going to be doing some of that stuff. Like, from Force Awakens, from that movie, I immediately knew Snoke was not going to be
the big bad.
I called him being a clone of the Emperor from day one. And spoilers, he was. They call him a creation. But he's a clone. He's meant to be. I knew the Emperor was going to be pulling the strings the entire time. Everyone's making it out like, oh, they pulled this in. They thought it was going to be Snoke. No, they didn't. It was 100% always going to be the Emperor. That was always JJ's plan.
So the Emperor didn't die when he...
Yeah, and he doesn't down. He doesn't in the extended universe that they canceled out. He doesn't either. He's alive. He has clones that he can. That's how because even that there was like rumors of him actually being Darth Plagueis, and that he's been around for thousands of years. Because they've even done that in like the Knights of the Old Republic, not Knights of the Old Republic, the Old Republic, the the MMO that they've been having for years. They don't say it, but there's like hints and things that the Emperor is Palpatine's alive then. And that's thousands of years prior to the events of Star Wars. All the Old Republic stuff. So, that's... Yeah, I mean, to think that they weren't going to use that was crazy. And the other thing is that they took this arc with Kylo Ren and Rey, and I don't know what the leaks were, because people had leaks out of all the stories, so I don't know if they were right or wrong or not. But they actually did this whole romance thing with Kylo Ren and Rey, which was just ridiculous. There was no reason for it.
We knew that was going to happen.
They wound up kissing at the end. But it's okay because Rey dies, or Kylo Ren dies. So, which I have to say, Kylo Ren's stuff was really good. He has a really good arc throughout all 3 movies. He does turn good again. The way they do it was really cool. It's this whole scene where like Leia's reaching out to him while he's fighting Rey, and she winds up dying trying to reach out to him with the Force, and like Rey stabs him, and Rey can apparently bring heal people, so that she heals them and then leaves or whatever. And they, he gets up and he has this awesome moment with Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford comes back for the movie again, and it's basically a recreation of the scene in Force Awakens when he kills him, but it's him like switching back to the good side kind of thing. It's kind of a reversal of that scene, where him killing him was like fully embracing the dark, and now it's like Han bringing him back to the light kind of thing. And that scene was great. It was awesome. And like it made sense as to him why you could, because you could, the whole time you could see that there is a struggle of the light and dark with him, and like that was a good part of the movie. But like there's about 17,000 MacGuffins in the movie. Everything that they pick up is something. It's a scavenger hunt for about the first 2/3. Oh, we got to go find this MacGuffin, and now we got to go find this MacGuffin that's going to tell us where that MacGuffin is. And then this MacGuffin's going to save everybody. And then this MacGuffin's going to tell us how to get to the Emperor. And then this MacGuffin is going to show us exactly what we need to destroy this MacGuffin so that that MacGuffin doesn't get used by that MacGuffin. Like, it's just one after the other. Plot convenience. And just, like, everything is so coincidental on how they come across everything, what they need. Every single person tells them exactly where they need to go, what they need to do, how they need to do it. They find all these different items, and they just happen to come across a droid that knows how to get into the, the Sith area and knows the way and all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. Like, it was so bad from a story perspective. How they told this story was horrendous, and they could have done it so much easier. They tried to go and do all of this, retconning of The Last Jedi throughout the movie, and they didn't have to do any of that. They could have had the exact same story that they used with Last Jedi intact, without them trying to change all this stuff and reversing all these narratives and things. It wasn't good. They tried to overcorrect so much for Last Jedi, and it's insane. This movie makes The Last Jedi look like a fucking masterpiece. It really does.
That's saying something, because The Last Jedi was.
I enjoy The Last Jedi.
It wasn't that great of a movie.
I think it's a good movie. I really, really like that movie. Someone else I watch, Andy Signor, was bringing up, like, you can't really name a memorable scene in this movie.
Well, it sounds like you named a few.
Like
though.
the Han stuff. Like, I mean, a couple. No, like, I mean, like, not like something that, like, all right. So none of the memorable, like, the fight scenes. No memorable fight scenes in the entire movie. Like, Last Jedi, that last fucking scene with Luke and Kylo Ren was fucking awesome. Regardless of the rest of the movie, it was a killer fucking scene.
Yeah, well, I mean, so was the fight scene between Snoke and
right, and yeah, Snoke and then Kylo and Rey, like that scene
with the Royal Guards.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
I forget what the Red Trooper.
Yeah, there's nothing like that in this movie. I mean, the Rey and Kylo fight was kind of it was okay. It was cool. It was fine. But it's nothing. None of it was just like jaw dropping. Like some of it was good. When Chewie finds out that Leia dies, he has this big moment, and it's awesome. Chewie gets a medal finally. Like, cool. Lando Calrissian was good in it. He was good. Like Billy D. Williams, he was. He was really good. I wish would have got more of them. The Leia stuff was good. They found a way to make it work. It is a little jarring because you could tell, like, just the way she's positioned, because they had to, like, superimpose old footage, like spare footage that they had, basically. So it's kind of awkward, but
it sounds like. I mean, I'll definitely
so
watch the movie, but I'm not going to go to the theater to see it. It sounds like.
I mean, I would see it in theaters still. Go see it in theaters. I mean, some of it, like, it looks great. The acting's good.
Now,
Like,
I've never really been a big fan of Rey.
she's great. She's fine. I
Just
like
in
her.
general,
That was another
like-
thing. Like everyone's mad about the way she is. There were so many. The way they explain it. Oh, okay. Mike doesn't care about spoilers, so whatever.
I really don't.
They make her this. They make out this whole secret, and I initially that whole thing because they add her. They make her and Kylo what they call the dyad, and it's just basically the 2 points of the force because the force is a balance of what light and dark, and it's this kind of sphere, but it's also this line and all this stuff. But if you have the line, a moving line of how much light and dark, but like the dyad initially in the extended universe was Han and Leia's kids. They have twins, and they're the dyad. They're the two ends of the force. The one goes bad, and so the other other one goes to save them. All this stuff. They did that. Why not just make her lineage then as a Skywalker? They make her a Palpatine because apparently Emperor Palpatine was getting busy, had kids, and then had a grandkid. And this whole movie was about Palpatine getting the grandkid so he could transfer his essence into her.
Yeah, it's a little convoluted.
Like I just don't like.
They had a story. Why not just go with it instead of?
Because they're so against using the extended universe because they took it out. It's not part of canon anymore. It's this blah blah blah. All that matters is the Disney stuff and the main 9 movies. But they're pulling so much from the extended universe. That's what pisses me off the most about these Disney Marvel movies.
So, let's just say you knew nothing about Star Wars other than the movies.
Yeah.
You don't think it was a good movie?
No. As a film, it is horrendous.
So
As a
taking
story,
all
it was
of your
horrendous.
knowledge and
Taking all of it out.
taking your ego out.
Because I tried. Because I
was this a good movie?
Yeah, because I spent 3 days thinking about it. Trying to think about it like that. And as a film, from a story, narrative, the way the script was written, and how they executed this movie, it is a bad piece of film. Fan films are better than this movie.
So, I'm not going to go see it in theaters then.
Like I said, I would say to see it in theaters just because it does look great.
Visual effects are
visually
good.
it's awesome. There are a couple cool characters. There's this little droid mechanic guy. He was pretty awesome. Kerry Russell's in it. Her character was okay. Like the acting was fine. It's such a fast movie. It's just not a good movie. It's just not as a movie. It's just not good.
They didn't try to bring those little puffin type creatures in.
They were there.
They're still going with that.
They were there.
Trying to be the next like Ewoks.
They were there.
almost.
They were there. Luke comes back as a Force ghost, which that scene was alright, and everyone's gonna make because they had a scene where like Rey's getting pissed off and she's like, I'm done with all this, I'm just burning it all to the ground. She goes back to the island, all this stuff, and was gonna throw the lightsaber, and then Luke's Force Ghost catches it. It's like, oh no, you gotta have more respect for these things. It's supposed to be. Everyone's saying it's like a shot at The Last Jedi when he tosses the lightsaber. I don't think it is. I think with Luke's story arc, even within Last Jedi, like it would make sense. It's not. It would make sense why he would. Like he changed his thinking and all that stuff. So whatever. Yeah, it's they tried putting they stuffed all of it in there. They did show a cool like a flashback scene of like Leia and Luke training Leia after Jedi, which they like de-aged them both. It was kind of cool, which that looked good. Like, I don't know, if you're able to shut your brain off, and if you don't care, if you just want to see flashy things and nostalgia, Like it's big, huge in as far as nostalgia. Like I said, it's huge in member berries. It's if that's what you're looking for, and if that's all you care about in your Star Wars, go see it on the big screen. Definitely, you'll probably love it. But like, just as like a movie fan, and just like looking at it from anywhere deeper than that of just like I just want to see things on the screen. Like,
so, what was a better movie than this or Solo?
Solo's a better movie than this.
Okay. What was a better movie than this then? Rogue One or this?
So if we're basing them just on like as far as film in general, Rogue One, I'm gonna say it's probably tied with. But like, just from a story perspective, both of those movies work more. Like stories work. Like I don't like Rogue One because, for other reasons, not because it's a like, not because of anything technically wrong with the movie. I just personally don't like it for a lot of ridiculous reasons, because that's another movie where they used all this EU canon and changed it all and changed the names and you know, we were talking about it earlier. You know, the one character Cassian is a spitting image of Kyle Katarn, who was in the original story, who's in one of the stories for how they got the Death Star plans, but they got rid of that completely with the extended universe. Yet they made a character that looks just like him and has a super similar backstory to him. You know, so that there's different reasons, but like as a film, as a story that's being told, like it's just riddled with issues from the scripting, from the pacing of the movie. I mean, there's so many Star Wars wipes of just like, whoop, new scene, whoop, new planet, whoop, now we're in space, whoop, now we're here, whoop, now we're like it's about 10 minutes of plot in the whole movie. I mean, it's just action scene after action scene after action scene after 3 minutes have been up. Let's get to another 10-minute action scene. Up, 3 minutes have been up. We got to do 15 minutes of action.
So some people will like it just because of the action.
Some people like it for that. If you don't really care about story, if you don't really care about any of that stuff,
if you're just there for a fight scene, then it sounds like it's right up your alley.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm trying to say that as nice as possible. Like, I'm not like, trust. Like, if you don't care about a good movie, then don't go and see the movie. Like, that's. I mean, it's the only other way I could say it. Like,
it's interesting though, because I'm surprised that J.J. Abrams for that.
That makes no sense to me.
He did good with the Star Trek movies. He's got a good track record with the Star Wars movies.
Another reviewer was saying, watching, he said that this I mean, he's like, it retroactively made the other two movies worse for him, because you look at it with a whole, and you can see there was no direction, there was nothing, and like I said, there were super easy ways that they could have changed this movie to fit with The Last Jedi and with Force Awakens with no issues. But they had to put their jabs in at Rainn Wilson. They had to put the Ryan Johnson. Sorry, not Rainn Wilson. Ryan Johnson. Right? Ryan Johnson? Whatever his name was. Whoever his name is. Who did The Last Jedi. They didn't have to course correct anything. And they could have done the exact same story but better. And that's what's frustrating, is because a lot of these elements, like, there's a good movie in there somewhere. It's just not that movie. It's just not the movie that we got. And it's a shame.
It's the last one too. Right?
For a while, last one of the saga films. Yeah. Yeah. You should also go and watch Collider that did a video with George Lucas. They've been doing these George reacts to videos with Star Wars, and they did one for like episode the Rise of Skywalker trailer. They did one for the Mandalorian trailer, and then they did one for the Rise of Skywalker opening, which is really good.
What was his opinion on the Mandalorian?
Oh my god, it was so funny. It's so good. It's all supposed to be funny, but it's him just ripping on all of it. Like he was looking at the trailer, and it's just every.
Do you think the Mandalorian would be better if it was helmed by George Lucas than it currently is?
He was nicer to the Mandalorian, but he also was like Favreau and them talked to him way more. And like the guy who's doing the Mandalorian also did Rebels, and like he worked for George Lucas for years, and like he was his kind of like right hand man. So like they're a
little bit more respected.
Yeah, he was a little bit more respectful on that one. That when he reacted to that one versus the thing, it's really funny. It was like when he's like, oh yeah, they got to call him IG-11. So if they call him IG-88, Daddy gets another paycheck. Like, but he's like, oh, can't wait to see them ruin my legacy and see what they do with this pile of dog shit movies. And like he rips into him pretty badly. In the newest one they did, he ripped into Baby Yoda really, really bad. It was funny. It was him like camping out for the Rise of Skywalker thing, and it was fun. It was good. It was definitely good. I don't know what would happen if he would helm Mandalorian.
I don't think anything would happen because I don't think he would have done anything.
Yeah.
I don't think he really had a lot of plans to do more Star Wars content.
He did. He had a third trilogy, and they wound up not using it.
I mean, like just alternate content and everything. Like,
well, he just let other people
the Mandalorian and.
Well, the problem is. We destroyed him. Fans.
Yeah. Because of the
prequels. Just everything. He got so fed up with us, I think, that...
Which he had every right to, because...
I mean, it's why he sold Lucasfilms. Let's be honest. Like, if there wasn't such a toxic aspect of fandom... Lucas would have been making his final 3 films for it because he had another 3 films written and ready to go. Now the rumors to those 3 films are really weird apparently and not great, but I would rather have seen him close out the Skywalker saga. I would have rather them sell this movie to Disney, everything to Disney, and then let him finish off his last 3 movies. That's the deal Lucas should have made. That's the deal he should have made. He should have said, listen, I will, instead of $11 billion, I'll take 9.5, and we take the other 1.5 billion and put it into letting me make the last 3 movies. Or whatever, I'll take 9 and take the last 2 billion or whatever. Whatever it was. Lucas should have done that. Because now we're kind of in a Zack Snyder situation. Where you have fans who only go by Lucas's films, and you have fans who love the Disney stuff and hate it and this and that. And you know, so it's like you have these divided fans now. At least for me, it's like
I don't care.
It's just more shit. Now you got fans that are going to destroy it because they hate Disney and they hate what Disney's doing with everything. So it's like, I don't know. They should have let Lucas finish it out. I would have loved. Like I'm more curious to see what Lucas would have done. It was all this whole thing about the wills and midichlorians and whatever it was, but like I would rather have seen him on there than.
But we are getting something good from George Lucas soon, from what I understand, and that is a TV series for Willow.
I mean, all right.
Hey, listen. I mean, you might have your opinions about Willow and not thinking it's good or anything like that, but Willow was fantastic for what it was. and that could be something that he could start fresh with, do something with, and make it his next Star Wars. Essentially, it'll never be Star Wars, but Willow has a pretty solid fan base for it's a classic. It's
got a weird cult following.
And I think it would be interesting to see. I mean, and just think about, like, it was such a weird movie. It was like barbarians, but also not barbarians. And it was like witchcraft. And I don't know. I'd be interested in seeing a new take on it with new technology and still be helmed by Lucas.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I mean, it's fucking Willow, man. I mean, get some Val Kilmer back.
Yeah. And what's his name? Life's Too Short? Or
the
guy who played Willow.
I don't know his name.
He was an Ewok in Star Wars.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, the Ewoks are back. They were in the scene. Yes, because they had to go to Endor.
I'm trying to think of his name. He's got that HBO show with Ricky Gervais. It's called Life's Too Short.
I don't know.
That show was funny. Just can't. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Episode 12. Closing it out, I guess.
Yeah, closing it out for the year. We'll take a couple weeks off. We'll be back in a couple after the new year.
We are going to continue to create some content and start putting other things out there besides just the podcast.
Yeah.
I know I've said it multiple times, but we will be putting up a poll of some comic book storylines that you guys can let us know which one you're interested in, and we'll start doing recaps of short mini runs. So nothing crazy long like Civil War, where it's such an expanded universe. We'll try to keep major storylines down for anyone interested who's never read these books.
Yeah.
Or maybe we'll be doing some stuff based on the real events versus what they transpired into film. We'll see. We'll be putting some stuff out there. So if you do care, don't go anywhere, because we're not.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
See you guys in a couple weeks.
Peace.
Later.